Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm glad you're here. Today we are talking about the evolution of this channel, and I am doing a little reintroduction of myself to you. So there are some new people here, and I wanted to kind of go back in time a little bit and talk about why I started this channel, why it's changed, and what you can expect from it from here going forward, and like why it is what it is now, and why I'm doing what I'm doing now, and who I am. For the last 9 years, I have been making videos on this channel. I started my YouTube channel back in 2014, so we are coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the start of the channel. And it's had a couple different names since then, because when I first started this channel, I started it the week after I found out I was pregnant. And so you'll notice if you came here and you were like, Jenny, who is this Jenny person? Let me go look at her video history. You may get a certain ways back and notice that all of the videos are about babies. I'd be like, what is this? This is not the stuff that she makes anymore, and I'm confused about this, and why are these videos still here, and what even is this YouTube channel? So I wanted to do a kind of brief explanation, but also a little bit of a journey into my growth and sort of how I discovered this new iteration of the channel and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, hi, if you're new here, I'm Jenny. I've been making videos on the internet for almost a decade. And the first video I made, I believe it's still here. If you look it up, please don't. It's horrifying. The quality is just so bad. I did it with this little Canon camera that I bought, and it was very bad quality. And I didn't really know what I was doing yet as far as editing or filming or anything like that. I just knew that I was a military spouse who was living in New Mexico, which was on the other side of the country from where I was from. And I just found out that I was pregnant. I was 8 years into my marriage, and I was feeling kind of lost and lonely, and I was excited about what was coming and what was ahead for me, but I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. I felt like there were so few people who I could share my experience with and like talk to just about the process of being pregnant and having my first child and becoming a mother. And so I didn't start this channel to become, some type of mega influencer and have 1 million subscribers. I literally only have like just over 300 subscribers right now as I'm making this, and I've never had more than that, and that's totally fine with me, because my purpose in making the channel was to document my life and what was going on in that moment, and be able to express and talk about what I was going through and connect with other people through that shared experience, and to meet other people who may be going through something similar, who I could learn from and talk to and connect with. And so I wanted to talk to other women. And of course, the second I found out I was pregnant, I got on YouTube and I started Googling or YouTubing a billion different things about being pregnant. And I discovered that there was this whole community online of mommy vloggers. These women, like, they make all of these videos about pregnancy and childbirth and motherhood and all of this. And I was like, wow, I could do that. Like, that's pretty much what I think anytime I discover something new that's intriguing to me, that like utilizes skills that I know I'm capable of doing. I'm like, well, why don't I just do it? That's the same way I started my podcast. I started a podcast in 2013, so I was already podcasting at this point. And I did that because I was in grad school studying anthropology and becoming an archaeologist at the time. And there really weren't any archaeology podcasts in the world. It was 2013. Not many people were podcasting yet. There was like 4 archaeology podcasts total that just existed. But none of them were funny. They were boring. And so I was like, well, I'm entertaining. I have a background in performance. I have a degree in theater. And I'm learning about this field, and I'm very excited about it, and I've got a very charismatic personality. I think this is something that I could do, and I can figure out how to do this. So I started podcasting. I figured out how to make a podcast, and I did it. And YouTube was very similar. I saw these women vlogging and talking about their life and being mothers and being pregnant. And I was like, that's what I should do. So I immediately bought this cheap little camera and set it up in my living room and did an entire video series about finding out I was pregnant. And from there, I started vlogging every single week and doing pregnancy bump dates. And my channel was about being pregnant, and then it was about having a baby. Oh, and I will say, like, I did actually get what I came to YouTube for in that aspect. Like, I made connections with people on the platform. I met other moms who were small-time mommy vloggers just like me, and I made friends, and we would keep each other updated week by week on how we were doing, and then we all had our babies around the same time, and it was a cool experience, and I'm not sorry that I did it. But when my son was about 2, I had moved to a new state. I was really busy at that point. I had a full-time job located in Philadelphia, which was about an hour and a half of a commute for me every single day there and back. So I was having 11-hour days outside of my house. I would leave at 6:30 in the morning and I would get back at 6 o'clock at night. It was brutal. And so I didn't have any time really for prioritizing YouTube during that period. And I was honestly pretty unhappy, and I couldn't use YouTube as like an outlet. So I said a farewell to YouTube. I did a video when my son was 2, and I said, I think this is it for us. I'm not feeling connected to mommy vlogging. I don't want to be a mommy vlogger. I don't want to be one of these women who's trying to make millions of dollars and exploiting their children, and that just doesn't feel right to me. And I decided that I wasn't going to put my son on YouTube anymore, and I decided that we were pretty much done making videos. So I made a farewell video. Cut to a couple years later, I got divorced. My ex-husband and I separated in the fall of 2019, and by the following spring, we were in a pandemic. And during that time period, after our separation, you know, I went through that process the first couple months. It was sad, it was hard, it was a really big change to my life. I had to wrap my head around it, and I had to figure out how I was going to traverse that. And especially with, you know, having a child who was now going to be joint custody and moving between houses, it was complicated and it was surreal. And that was an experience that I needed to like just go through and live through and figure out. But on the other side of that, once we got into pandemic times and quarantine, I really delved into personal development because I went into my separation knowing that this was happening for me, not to me, that I was going to survive and thrive and grow from having gone through this experience, that I was going to learn so much about myself, and that now I had this new opportunity to actually like take a step back from the world and look inside myself and do some work, like figure out some things. So during quarantine, I would spend half of the week alone and half of the week with my son. So I had more alone time than I had ever had before to work on myself. And so I discovered that I could just like sit in the morning and journal and enjoy a cup of tea and think. I started doing things like meditating and affirmations and reading personal development books and memoirs and things that were just like really enlightening me. I started listening to Abraham Hicks and playing high frequency music on YouTube or like, on the radio in my house during the day. I started getting crystals and sort of just exploring this much deeper connection to myself than I had ever. I felt like beforehand I had been so divorced from my true self, like I had really been hidden underneath some rubble for years. And like the real Jenny, I didn't even know who that was anymore. Like she didn't feel like me. I didn't feel like me. So that was a powerful experience, and I did a lot of exercises. I started learning about shadow work and personal development and self-discovery, manifestation, and all of these, wonderful woo-woo things. And some of them really resonated with me, some of them not so much, but I'm a really open-minded person, and I'm a very curious person, so I love learning about all of this stuff and the different ways that people see the world and believe. I also, I studied anthropology in graduate school, so I spent years studying humans and culture and how we developed into the type of people that we are and why we have the type of belief systems we do, and examples of all of these different ways that people live and the things that they believe. And it's always so fascinating to me. So jumping into this new world of like spirituality and personal development just like landed so hard, with the type of person that I am. And my curiosity and the fact that I love to travel and I love to experience new things. I'm a Sagittarius moon. I admit it. My Sagittarius moon was coming out hardcore, and it really equated to me making some major discoveries about myself and who I am and what I want, and starting to feel more like myself than I had. Just having that sense of like knowing that I'm being the authentic me, and like knowing what the authentic me wants and what she feels, and like when an emotion is something I can trust or a reaction is something that is real and grounded, as opposed to something that's been conditioned in me or like a trauma response or something. Just learning all of this stuff that was really life-changing. And so it came time to move out of my house that I'd been living in since the separation, and I moved into this place where I am now. And during that process, I was having all these deep thoughts, these big thoughts, and I was making changes, and I was excited about what was to come in my life. So I picked up the camera again, and I started just filming little things, like little sit downs, like, hey, I'm moving, let's talk about what's going on for a minute. And hey, I'm here in my new house, this is what I'm doing. And it felt good to talk again. And, I'm a projector in human design. I'm actually a self-projected projector. And talking and communicating using my voice is like the main way that I basically understand what I think about anything. And it's pretty much the best way for me to express myself. And so talking, especially in this type of media, is just like secondhand to me. It feels so natural. When I tried it again and it felt good, and I was enjoying the process of editing videos and putting them up and hearing from people, I just got this hum of like, yes, it's like, this is good. This is something to follow up on, like this is an alignment. This feels authentic. This feels good. So that's why I started making videos again. And then I kind of, I'm a multi-passionate person, so I always have like 10 to 20 extra projects going on in my life besides just like working and living and having a child and taking care of a house and a dog and all of that. And so like I have a lot of hobbies and a lot of side projects and a lot of things that I'm trying to develop. So I'm a writer. I'm writing a book right now. I've talked about it a little bit recently. But I also started blogging, and I started working on a memoir type book. And those are writing from my personal life and my experience and the thoughts that I'm having about all of this. So starting to make that content felt good. And then I started feeling the need to talk about it more openly on my social media. So I don't like using Facebook or Instagram for this type of content, but TikTok felt good. So I started talking a little bit about it on TikTok. And I found that some of the lessons that I'd learned and the ways that I've discovered on how to deal with certain things, like moving on, like moving past hurts and pain from the past. A lot of these things that I'd learned, I found were something that could help people who are in tough situations or who are feeling really stuck or lost or like their identity has disappeared. And so I started talking about some of these topics, and it felt really aligned, and it felt like something that could really help people. Another thing about being a projector is that you're really here to be a guide. You're not like a motor. You're not here to just do the work. You're here to actually like set an example and guide people toward a better way to live. And I feel like the way that I am built and the things that I've gone through in my life and my ability to embrace change and transformation, delve deeply into who I am and explore that through a bunch of different means. A lot of them are creative because I'm a creative person. I feel like those are qualities about me that I had developed specifically for this journey in order to be this guide and to be able to have this wisdom to share with others so that I could maybe help guide some people into a life that is better and happier and more fulfilling for them. And so when I started writing and outlining YouTube videos like the ones that I've been posting recently for my self-discovery series, it just felt so right. And once I decided to sit down and actually take it more seriously and start thinking about the content I really wanted to create, the ideas just came and the messages just came. And some days I'm just like taking a walk and then all of a sudden an entire video will pop into my head and I have to get home right away so that I can write it down and film it and just get it out. And when you have that type of excitement and passion for something, I just think like it's lunacy to not follow that, to not let it lead you to wherever you're going. And so that's kind of why the content on this channel has shifted into that realm. But that's not all the content I make, right? I also vlog still. And that's because I really enjoy the process of vlogging. And I also think like sometimes these talking head guru types on YouTube, like they can say all this stuff and it's great and you can learn from them, but then like you don't really see them in their everyday lives and you may not ever get to really see how they implement it or like what they're really like. And I also just personally love watching these style vlog videos on YouTube. I do it almost every day. I have certain like slow living vloggers that I follow, and they just have these beautiful videos with such poignant and beautiful messages, and they just teach you to really slow down and enjoy the simple things in life and to really just be grateful for everything that you have and the beauty around you in the world. And I love cultivating that feeling in myself and helping cultivate it in other people. So I think that through the vlogging and the showing people things that I'm doing in my everyday life and how I'm integrating my lessons and the things that I've learned and the way that I want to live, which is someone who is living slowly and intentionally and who is in this state of gratitude for the life that she has. I just think those are beautiful things that I can share with people. And if I can use some of my skills in like video making and editing and writing and speaking as a part of that, it's like the perfect combination of just all of this stuff that feels so important for me to do. And, you know, I'm here to do a lot of things. One of the things I've been trying to figure out through this entire process is like, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? And it's some combination of this, I think. The guidance that I've gotten is like, do this, like be a voice, put yourself out there and let people know you and see you and make those connections. And maybe you can help some folks or guide them along the way and point them in the right direction. Or maybe we can just enjoy little things together, like going on walks in the woods or playing with my dog. And maybe people will get at least just ease and contentment and satisfaction out of that. Just having something beautiful and relaxing to watch on a Sunday morning. I will continue to be making more talking head style videos where I'm talking about specific topics or lessons or things that I've discovered and were really important to me on my self-discovery journey. But then I'm also going to keep vlogging and talking about, you know, just these little things in my life that are helping these lessons become more integrated into who I am. I'm a voiceover artist on the side. I've been doing some freelance voiceover for the last couple of years. And I'd make meditation and affirmation videos or recordings sometimes. And that has also felt really aligned. When I sit down to write them, like a meditation, it will just come to me, like the words, I'm not even thinking about it, like they're just there. And it feels important to do. And it's a great way that I can use another skill that I have, which is my voice and my voiceover work to help people. And I think that's really important. So I'm going to be doing some of that and providing some of that for people on YouTube for free. And affirmations are a hugely important tool that I've used in my life to make major changes, and I'm very passionate about affirmations. So I'm also going to be making some of those and working with affirmations in my own life and with clients, which is a really exciting thing that I do too. That's where we started. This is where we are now. And if you're wondering why I haven't deleted all of those old videos of my baby and me 9 months pregnant, it's because that is a documentary of my life. Those are precious memories, and It's a record of what I have been through these last couple of years and where I started in this journey. It's, you know, memories of my son when he was little and memories of what it was like to go through that experience, and they're really precious to me. So I don't think I'm going to delete them, even though this channel has evolved in a very different direction. I hope people can still find value from them. And so that's why they're still on here. And feel free to check them out if you'd like. If you're a pregnant person or a mom, you might like them. Give them a try. We'll see. But anyway, I do talk about motherhood sometimes in some of my vlog content. So you can also still find me talking about my son and being a mom from time to time, but that is no longer the main focus of the channel. So that was a very long video, and I hope that it wasn't too weird that I just was like, hey, I'm gonna sit down and just talk about myself and why I'm doing this stuff for a long time. But I really felt like it was kind of needed for a lot of people who may not understand why the shift and like why the current content that we're doing. And for the new people to get to know me, like, you know, what is this chick? What's her deal? And why is she talking about this stuff? Well, there you go. Now you know. So anyway, I will be back soon with some form of content for you, be it an informational video or a vlog or a meditation or an affirmation. But I really appreciate everyone who's been along from this journey. If you've been here from the beginning, hello, I'm so glad you're still here today. And everyone who is new, who has come along recently, I'm so glad to have you here. And I'm so excited to connect. So please introduce yourself in the comments. We're on this wild ride called life. I think it's crazy that I'm doing it on the internet, but here we are. These are the choices that we've made, and there's no turning back now. So you're stuck with me. All right, I'm Jenny, and I'll talk to you again soon. Be well. Bye.